Craig Vosbergen, you commenced your career like so many of today's stars in junior sedans at the age of 10, but you were quick to jump into the tough Grand Nationals division at age 17. Was that a daunting experience for you?
Matt, it was. In those days we didn't really have a stepping stone like the guys today. Can go from juniors to AMCAs. Modifieds are also quite big in that, so to jump straight into a V8 Grand National was a pretty big stepping stone, I must admit. And like I say, the first time I hopped in it, we went to a track called Ellenbrook, and by the time I'd hit the gas pedal, ripped off a tear off, I was in the sand bunker at the end of the straight. So yeah, that was a steep learning curve for sure.
Was that Dad's idea to jump into the Grand National?
Well, it was sort of one of those things. He just got a new Grand National that he bought from a visiting American driver, and his old one was sitting out the back, and we got talking, and I'd finished juniors, we'd sold that car, and he said, look, if you want to drive, there's a car there, you've got to strip it, you've got to build it, you've got to get it going yourself, and if you do all that, I'll take you racing. So that's what we did.
Well, after 2 years you moved into super sedans, a category which was very good to you, winning the Driver of the Year on 2 occasions and the WA State Championship in 2001. What made you leave the class and head to late models?
I just thought it was another stepping stone, and I'd always wanted to race in America, whether, you know, not professionally or anything, but just to test the water, if you like. And I felt, you know, the late models coming straight from the States, you know, they're built over there, raced over there in huge numbers. That to me just all made sense.
Well, Craig, you've been a tough competitor in the late model ranks, not only here in WA but across Australia, but the national title hasn't embedded on this car yet. Is that coming close?
Oh, look, I did a magazine interview about the same thing, and you know, I have been racing long enough to know that anything can happen, and it seems to on these big events for me. I don't know whether I get wound up too much and expect too much from myself and the team. I've always got the equipment to do it, and I've got a great team behind me, great sponsors, but we just haven't been lucky enough to come away, you know, with the goods so far.
Well, the class certainly is starting to become big in Australia. Where do you see the future for late models in this particular country?
Well, obviously WA is the strongest state as far as late models go, but New South Wales are really pushing ahead. They're racing pretty much every show at Parramatta these days and getting good numbers and really quality cars over there. And also some of the cars from here have gone to South Australia, so they're starting to sort of get a bit of momentum there. There's a club registered in Queensland, so I guess it'll take time. You know, we don't have the population that America has to feed off as far as, you know, racing goes, crowd, spectators, sponsors, the whole bit. So it will take time, but I think the product's there. I mean, it's a pure American race division. Guys can just buy a car straight out of America, bring it in a container and go and race it basically. So I think, and people like to watch them, that's the biggest thing. So I think, you know, the future looks good for late models.